All right, let's just jump right in. For most of us, the book of Revelation has always been this fascinating, but let's be real, pretty confusing part of the Bible. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if its real purpose isn't just about the end of the world, but about mapping out the entire story of the Bible?
I mean, think about it. The standard take is that Revelation is all about the future. Or maybe it was all about ancient Rome. Or, a lot of people just throw their hands up and say it's all symbolic, we can't really know for sure. But what if there's another option? What if Revelation is actually the key that unlocks the whole timeline, from Genesis all the way to the very end? And the reason we can even ask this is because of something Jesus does right at the beginning of the book, something he almost never does anywhere else. He actually defines his own symbols for us.
And this is where everything clicks into place. The key to unlocking this whole thing isn't some secret code we have to decipher. Nope, it's a direct explanation from Jesus himself, right there in chapter 1.
So John gets this incredible vision. He sees 7 individual golden lampstands. And this is the critical part. He sees someone he calls the Son of Man, that's Jesus, standing right in the middle of them. He's not at the beginning, he's not at the end. He's right there among them.
And then, boom, Jesus just comes right out and tells him what it means. He doesn't say the lampstands are like the churches or that they represent the churches. He says flat out, the 7 lampstands are the 7 churches. This isn't some later interpretation, folks. This is the bedrock definition for the entire vision, straight from the source.
So, what are these lampstands anyway? Well, they're not just random decorations. They immediately make you think of the menorah from the Old Testament tabernacle. And the menorah has a very specific structure, right? 7 lamps, 1 central shaft, a clear order. And throughout the Bible, that menorah is deeply, deeply connected to the idea of sacred time.
So let's just connect the dots here. We know from Scripture that a day with the Lord is as 1,000 years. So what if these 7 lamps, which Jesus just told us are the 7 churches, what if they're not just symbolic, but actually chronological? What if 7 lamps represent 7 divine days, mapping out a 7,000-year timeline of God's redemptive plan?
Okay, this next part, this is the absolute game changer. Where Jesus is standing in this vision isn't just a tiny detail. It changes literally everything about how we read the Bible's timeline.
So let's really zero in on this, because the answer completely reorients the entire map. Out of these 7 lamps, where does John see Jesus standing?
He is in the midst. Now, that one little phrase is a total bombshell. It means that these churches, these ages of history, don't all start after Jesus ascends to heaven. No, some of them are already there when he appears. He shows up inside the timeline, not at the starting line.
Think about it. If you've got 7 items in a row, what's in the midst? It's number 4. It's the precise, mathematical, structural center. It has to be.
And check out how beautifully this lines up. What happened on day 4 of the creation week in Genesis? The Sun appeared, the great light, the one that rules the day and governs all the seasons. So what happens at lamp 4 of redemptive history? The Son of righteousness appears, the incarnation. It lands at the precise midpoint of this 7,000-year timeline. It's perfect.
So once you lock in Jesus at lamp 4, everything else just snaps into place. It's incredible. The lamps before him become the ages leading up to him, and the lamps after him are the ages that follow his coming. Let's see how the whole timeline lays out from that one central point.
Just look at how this unfolds. Lamp 1, Ephesus, is the church told it lost its first love and is pointed back to the tree of life. That's the story of Adam and Eden, right? Lamp 2, Smyrna, is all about faithfulness to death and true covenant. That's the age of Abraham. Lamp 3, Pergamum, talks about thrones, swords, and compromising with empire, which perfectly describes the Mosaic law and the age of Israel's kingdom. Then you hit Lamp 4, Thyatira, the incarnation, with all its messianic language about authority over nations. And from there, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea map out the ages after Christ.
So what does this mean for all that famous and, let's face it, scary stuff in Revelation 13? The beasts, the mark systems, the economic control? Well, it means they're not just stuck in the past with ancient Rome. They belong to the later lamps, the ages after Christ, describing the patterns of history as we get closer and closer to the end.
Now, look, I get it. An idea this big, this different, is bound to raise some questions. So let's just tackle a few of the most common objections head-on and get really clear about what this historical map is actually for.
Okay, first one. But these were 7 literal churches. And the answer is yes. Of course they were. But Adam was a literal man too, and he's also a type for all of humanity.
The literal event doesn't cancel out the larger pattern. Then you'll hear, what about the book of Acts? Acts isn't a whole new lamp, it's the power surge of lamp 4. It's Pentecost igniting that midpoint. And finally, isn't this just allegory? No, it's what you'd call typological realism. The history is real, and the symbols that give that history its shape, they're real too.
And this is so important to understand. This menorah map is not about predicting dates. It's not a doomsday clock. It is a diagnostic tool. It's designed to help us understand the character of our own time by showing us where we are in this grand unfolding story.
Which brings us to that final lamp, the seventh age, Laodicea. And what's its defining feature? It's not intense persecution. It's not a lack of knowledge. It's self-sufficient prosperity. It's a culture so comfortable, so advanced, that it looks around and says, I'm rich. I've got it all figured out. I don't need a thing. All while Jesus is left standing on the outside, knocking to be let in. So that leaves us with one final, really provocative question. If the seventh and final age of this story is defined by a kind of prosperity so complete that it no longer feels any need for God, we just have to ask ourselves, are we there now?